Hi guys, and welcome to our Saturday market update, where we like to look back and see what happened on financial markets over the course of the last week, make sense of it all, and of course look ahead to see what might be coming in the next week or two. Now, this week obviously has been a big week. We have a new US president, and in fact the day that Joe Biden was sworn in as the next president of the United States, number 46, markets had their biggest day for the week. And of course, a lot of that had to do with the stability that the market saw that the Biden administration is going to bring, opposed to the chaos in the Trump administration. And of course, also we've now got the Congress controlled by the Democrats in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, which means they're likely going to get through this stimulus package of around $1.9 trillion that they want to provide unemployed US workers and families that are struggling in the US. So the market was excited by that earlier in the week, and then the market's attention turned to the current company earnings season, when what we're seeing right now is the fourth quarter of 2020, many of the US businesses, all the majors in the S&P 500, etc., are providing their final quarter of 2020 earnings. And at the moment, about 90% of them are actually beating estimates. But the market finished up. In fact, the NASDAQ was up 4% for the week. Apple was up 9.4%. Microsoft was up 9.2%. So it was a really bullish week on the market. The S&P was up as well. And there was two reasons why. One is that the company earnings that many thought might be average for the last quarter of the year, given the fact that the economic data numbers weren't sensational, and we saw COVID-19 infection rates up, death rates up, hospitalization rates up as well. The market wasn't expecting the really good earnings for that last quarter that we're actually seeing. So that was one reason, but really the second reason was because what we're seeing now is the companies that are reporting in the fourth quarter, many of them are giving what they weren't giving back in 2020 in the second, third quarters, and that is forward guidance on what they're expecting with earnings later in the year. And what we're seeing is they're looking forward to a little more inflation, higher growth, better revenue and sales, and a really positive outlook. So the market is cheering that. And what we saw was every time the market got focused on COVID, every time the market got focused on Joe Biden saying, hey, things might get worse before they get better, we actually saw a lot of the tech businesses rally. Every time we saw the broader economy look like it might be looking better in the future, we saw banks, many of what we call the value businesses, a lot of the airlines, a lot of the cruise lines, a lot of the hotels, they started to do well again. But late in the week again, it turned back to COVID, and tech was the real standout performer through the course of the week. Now, looking ahead to the coming week, it's probably going to be one of the busiest weeks we've seen in a number of months, because we're going to see the earnings for many of the most popular US listed businesses, and the ones that people own and the ones that people follow the most. I'm going to list some of them off for you. That happens throughout the course of the week. And on top of this, we're going to have the latest GDP number, and we're also going to have some comments from the US Federal Reserve. Now, we're going to get reporting from Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Chevron, McDonald's, Starbucks, MasterCard, Visa, Caterpillar, Boeing, Abbott Labs, and many, many more. But what the market's going to focus on, and one of the reasons why Apple was up so strongly in the back half of the week, was because Morgan Stanley and a number of big investment banks are actually raising their price expectations for Apple up to about $152, expecting that the release of that phone, the latest iPhone back in 2020, is going to see their final quarter for the year be an absolute record for the company. So the focus this week is likely going to be on those big businesses, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Chevron, and of course, many of the great quality companies that we have in our portfolio, they are also reporting this week in amongst the ones I've just mentioned. In fact, those of you that are my clients, keep an eye out on Monday, because I am going to be sending you a little alert letting you know that we will be accumulating some more shares in a business that we already own. It's offering some really good value right now, I think, and the economic data numbers potentially will support it over the coming few months. So we're going to look to buy some more of that on Monday. I'll keep our clients abreast of that in our Monday report. So there's plenty going on. There's a lot to look forward to, but I don't want you to fall in love with the fact things are all of a sudden going to get better and we're going to see share prices continue to just rally like crazy. We're really not going to see the impact of the vaccines and higher economic output until the second half of 2021. The market won't wait for the economic data numbers to come in. The market will price in that expectation of higher inflation, higher growth, higher earnings well before then. But I want you to appreciate the fact that it's never a straight line up. We're always going to see little pullbacks along the way. The Aussie market is performing reasonably well, nowhere near as well as the US market, but that's only something we've come to expect, those of us that have a lot of our money in many of the international growth businesses that have delivered us really superior returns on investment. But certainly, we are seeing a lot of money recently coming back into banks. I talked about that last week. But guys, tech is here to stay. Amazon had a good week this week. E-commerce businesses are here to stay. Cloud computing businesses are here to stay. Microsoft rallied 9.2% last week, a business that we own in our portfolio. And part of that was due to the fact that has a wonderful cloud service business that is going to thrive into the future. So lots going on. I'll keep you up to date, those of my clients, of course, throughout the week, every day in our daily report. And next Saturday, we'll have a look back and see how Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, etc. If we see these businesses deliver stronger than expected earnings, and they give really positive forward guidance for the rest of the year, or at least the next couple of quarters, market's going to finish higher again at the end of next week. I don't think the GDP or the Fed statement is really going to overshadow company earnings and forward guidance estimates, but I might be wrong on that. If there's something comes out of left field, of course, that could interrupt the positive sentiment in the market right now. But certainly the huge amount of money, over $1 trillion still sitting on the sidelines waiting to come back in, it's getting drip fed back into the market as we're seeing more forward estimates and guidance about better days ahead. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you have any questions for me about anything to do with the financial markets, please put them in the comment section below. And those of you that aren't a client with us at Trading Mastery, there is a little mini course waiting for you over on our website, tradingmastery.com.au. It shares with you how to get started the right way and what it's like being a client with us here at Trading Mastery. In fact, if you are a client of ours, you can put a comment in the section below and let everyone else know what it's like. Have a wonderful weekend. See you next Saturday.